Hello, mate. How you doing? Long time no see. Hello, I'm Snapback Jack, and today what I'm going to be talking about is Xbox versus PlayStation, right? So obviously, Xbox, you've got the original Xbox, and then you've got Xbox 360, and you've got Xbox One. And then obviously it's run by Microsoft. They've got other stuff. They made Microsoft phones. They've got Microsoft Windows, all that. And then you've got Sony, and they made PlayStation. They had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. They had the PSP, PS Vista. There are loads of stuff. They both have a lot of stuff, and they're very different, but they're also very similar in very weird ways. Obviously, both Xbox and PS4, whatever it is, PlayStation, they both have. Sometimes they both share games. You know, they're both on each game. Console. But like obviously you get like Tomb Raider. That's for both PlayStation and Xbox. But then you get Uncharted, which is just exclusive just to PlayStation. And it's really weird because if a long time ago when it was just Xbox 360 and PS3, a lot of people they wanted to play Uncharted if they had an Xbox 360, and they were like, oh, it's so annoying. So they'd have to buy a PlayStation 3 just to play the game. But obviously now, I don't know. I think most games are both on both consoles, but some are still just for PlayStation and just for Xbox. So that's a bit annoying still, because obviously people they prefer Xbox over to PlayStation. People prefer PlayStation over to Xbox, and then you get people that think, oh, PC is the master race. You can mod and shit, and it's better graphics, which I agree is very. It's a lot better. You get like a good gaming PC. But yeah, it's really difficult, isn't it? And like they've changed over the years. They've changed like the graphics for certain games. The games are really done well, and they've got like better FPS and all that. And it's just crazy how games have changed. And like now, if you were to play, because obviously they've done rare replays, haven't they? They've brought out games that were just originally on the Xbox, the original Xbox, or just on the PlayStation 2. You know, they've brought them back so you can play them in better graphics, better quality, and they've obviously remastered the game in terms of like missions, weapons and stuff. They did that for one of the Saints Row games. They sort of redid it and they put it on the Xbox One, even though it was originally made for Xbox 360, which I think is cool. And they did that with Destiny as well, because you could play that on the Xbox 360 as well as the Xbox One and PlayStation. You know, they've just made it so that it works on the better consoles, and I think that's pretty cool. Another thing that's changed as well is the controllers for both consoles. It's crazy. Like you get, I think I've got one of the original ones like in my loft somewhere. But it's so clunky, it's so sturdy, you could drop it and nothing would break on it. And like now, they're really small, they're kind of like more compact and small, but it's still, I hate the way that the bumpers click, whereas on a PlayStation 4 controller, they just meld in, you know, they just squish in, they don't click, which I think's better. It's better when you're playing a game and you want to hear every, sort of sound, but instead you hear, it's annoying, isn't it? You wanna hear the whole quality of the game, which is good. I think the PS4 have done. It's completely changed, isn't it? That's the thing about PS4 as well. You don't have to pay for online. You don't have to pay for online gaming, whereas the Xbox you do, which is a bit of a rip-off, to be honest. Because I mean, it's like I think it's like 20 something, 27, 29 pounds for a whole year's worth, which isn't too bad. But when you think about it, it gets taken out at a certain point every year, and you're just like, where the fuck did that come from? But they do message you beforehand. But you shouldn't have to pay. You're already paying for the internet and the Wi-Fi. Why should you pay to actually play online as well? So I think the PS4 have done, I think Sony have done pretty well with that. I think that's good, and their controller's really cool. They've got a little touchpad on top of the controller, which is really, really cool. So you can play more games that have interaction with the touchpad. And obviously you can search the web and stuff, because obviously most consoles nowadays, you can go on the internet on your console, which is really nifty, it's pretty cool. But the only thing I don't like is obviously, because it's a new feature to the PlayStation 4 with the little touchpad, they're trying to find an excuse in every game to make it possible for you to use it. Well, that's not. There should be a reason why you should use it. Instead of just think, fuck it, it's not being used. Let's just put it in for the hell of it. It should be a feature. There should be a feature where you have to use the touchpad, not just because it's there. Just because it's a new feature, we have to use it. Yeah, you do have to use it because it's a new feature, but find a good reason why you should use it. It's a good reason to use it on the internet for browsing. It's a lot easier. I know that for a fact. But still, as I said, find a good reason why it should be used, not just because, why not? It's a new feature. But yeah, it's completely changed. I think it's really good, the comparisons between the two and the games, but if I were to choose one, even though I've got an Xbox One, I would choose a PlayStation 4. I probably will be getting one soon. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Xbox Ones, they're really good, and some of the games are just amazing. But as I said, the controllers, they're clunky, and the buttons and the bumpers click, and it's just like, what's that? Just stop the clicking. I want to hear the quality of the game, not the clicking on my controller. The whole Kinect thing and the whole camera, the U-View thing or whatever it is, scrap that idea. I mean, it's fun if you want to be interactive by movement and stuff, but my personal opinion, I like to actually control with a controller. And like the Play As You Go thing, the Play As You Go feature, that's pretty nifty, that's pretty good, because if it charges while you're playing, and then once it's charged you just take it out and just carry on. Because if you do it too much you could overload the battery, and then you've got acidic stuff all inside your controller. But yeah, if I choose one, it'll be a PS4. I've had a lot of problems with Microsoft consoles, Xbox Originals. I've had 2 Xbox Originals, right? I've had 3 Xbox 360s, and this is my first Xbox One, but it's pretty much dead anyway. It doesn't read discs properly. It's got like an app. That's another thing, I'll go into this in a minute. But it's got an app for a Blu-ray player. So it's got a Blu-ray player built into the console, but you need an app to actually watch Blu-ray films, which doesn't, to me, that just doesn't make sense. Right? So it won't read any disc, and it takes about 5, maybe 4 times to actually put the disc in, install it, or just play it. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, it just works straight away, which is good. But obviously, right, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, that's when you first got Blu-ray in that built into that console, right? In Xbox 360, you didn't, which is, is fair enough. It's like their second console, but they made it anyway. So PlayStation 3 had a Blu-ray built into the console. And now they've done it. You don't have to download any apps for it. I'm pretty sure you don't anyway. But, it's just like, if you think about it, I'm not being funny, I'm not slaying anyone that's got an Xbox One, this is just my personal opinion. I think a PS4 is so much better. You get like, my Xbox, when I had an Xbox 360, it had constant heating problems. The red ring of death and all that. I had to take it apart. I actually got it fixed. I went to Game, where I got it from, and they sent it off for me. And then it came back about 3 weeks later, and it worked for a couple of weeks, and it died again. It just died again. And it was a brand new Xbox as well. So then what I did, because I looked on the internet, that you could do this thing where you take your Xbox apart, and you change the heat sensors with pennies. And so I did that. I take these, you put 3 pennies on top of each other, and tape it where the heat sensors were, and then that absorbs more heat than the actual heat sensors, and so it cools, it cools it down and all that crap, and that worked. It worked for like a year. But before that, I tried the warm towel thing where you wrap it over the Xbox. That worked for a little while. I think it worked for about an hour. I've smashed one of my Xboxes just because I was just plain pissed off of it. But yeah, Xboxes are cool. They've got a lot of stuff that's really good with them, but they've also got a lot of a lot of problems with them that need to be fixed. But I don't see Microsoft making another console. Same with Sony. I think that's just the last of it now. Last of Us. No, it's the last of it now. I think they'll just be the last consoles. They might upgrade it, might sort of make a bigger one, but it's the same sort of kind of like Xbox One, like 5 terabyte or something fucking stupid, But yeah, I think PS4 wins this one. I'm gonna, if you want me to do more versus sort of videos about like games, if you've got any games in mind that clash very well, or other consoles or gaming stuff, I look it up. Just request it. You know, follow me on Twitter, leave a message, or like this video. You know, or leave a comment down below and all that. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Like, subscribe, cheers, and peace. And I will see you on the flip side, my friends.